Right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Hoya Locker Room episode 90. As I usually say, this is going to be my favorite episode, and this is a repeat performance with some new Hoya family in the building. This is Soul Hoya Alumni episode where we're going to celebrate Alumni Weekend, Soul Hoya Alumni Weekend, June 2nd through the 4th. And also we're going to touch on what I think is the very soul in Georgetown and the soul of Georgetown. And with that being said, I'll welcome in my esteemed host, Mr. Markham Stansbury Jr.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Do we want to do the Stevie Wonder thing for a couple of people?
Well, I think
have
you
a
should
list over
intro those that are new. Miss Wendy Wilkes, that everyone knows, but I think you can do the pleasantries. You can be a little formal for once.
Oh my God. Well, let's start with Wendy Winoka Wilkes, class of the most esteemed class at Georgetown, 1991.
That is correct.
And her co-founder, Mr. Keith Dent, with the all-pro headphones there. Like, I'm sure he's gonna tell us about it. He has a serious podcast himself.
Yeah, we need his headphones.
And last but certainly not least, the billionaire philanthropist, Dr. Tracy Thompson.
Claim that. I'm gonna claim that right there.
Well, welcome to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gene?
Yes. Welcome. We usually start the show, and this is usually Markham's part, but I'll take that because we work that way. We usually start the show with describe, explain, share.
No. God, dog, you're killing me, man.
I'm sorry. Is it okay? You gonna be okay?
Da 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 da.
Oh, okay. I'd like to give some birthday shout outs from the Hoya basketball family. Patrick Ewing Jr. had a birthday this past week, and also Boomche. Happy birthday, fellas.
Right.
Happy
Now,
birthday.
Okay.
Now you do know we could have done that at the end.
Well, let me ask you something.
Yes,
Let me
sir.
ask you something.
Yes, sir.
How do people find us on Twitter?
You can find us on Twitter at Room Hoya. You can find us on IG at Hoya Locker Room. And you can also find us on Facebook at Hoya Locker Room. And we also have a YouTube channel, Hoya Locker Room.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
And I want to say, give a little shout out to Delmisha Bynum, who is the mother of Manya Bynum at Georgetown. She had a major surgery, and we joke all the time. She always tells me she wants me to come to her funeral. It's gonna be a long time, Miss Bynum. Just want to say that.
Amen to that.
Amen.
And her niece Cheryl Gret had an aneurysm just a couple of days ago. So I want to send out best wishes to her and her son Jordan and her husband Brian. And now, since Wendy's been here before, we'll start off with Keith and Tracy.
Yes.
Keith, how did you end up at Georgetown? What was your journey to the hilltop?
Well, I'm so glad. Well, thank you for allowing us to be here today on this great Sunday of, I guess, May. It's the last Sunday in May? No, we have one more after this, I think. And Gene, you actually will love this story. So before I got to, I guess, my freshman year in high school, I lived in Texas. I grew up in Texas and then moved to New Jersey. But one of my goals and aspirations for college, when they ask, well, what school are you going to go to, or what you're looking at, I said, I'm going to the school that wins the NCAA tournament. So that was my dream, not knowing where that was going to be. So of course, my junior year, Georgetown wins the tournament. So that was 84. So of course, 85, we're tearing it up. Georgetown was tearing it up, of course, sticking my chest out.
Me too.
Apply to Georgetown at my school. Most people, even my counselor, didn't think I was going to get accepted. So, but I did. But unfortunately, Georgetown didn't hold their end of the bargain that year. Villanova won, but by no means was I going there. No, by hook or by crook, I said no. There's no way. I mean, that summer went to visit the campus, was just really blown away by what was there, the atmosphere, the energy. And so I defied my conventions and went to Georgetown and enjoyed my journey ever since.
Tracy?
So I was born and raised in Maryland, and so I wanted to stay local, but I did apply to some Ivy Leagues. When I was 16, I was sitting on a bed in my room and was looking at all the schools that were local, and decided not to apply to another one of my alma maters, Johns Hopkins, because that's where I was going to go to medical school. And I applied to some Ivy Leagues, applied to Georgetown. It was my godfather, the Reverend Dr. Hiawatha Fountain, who told me that Georgetown is the place you need to be. And so I listened to my elders, as I do, and that's where I went and had a wonderful time. I loved, I knew I was majoring in chemistry, and they had a very good chemistry department. So that's how I made it to Georgetown.
Nice. Mr. Smith?
Okay, so let's talk about Soul Hoya Alumni Weekend. And
Let's do that.
let's do that. And obviously we'll bring Wendy in to bring us up to date. If you can kind of give us the backstory, like how it all started, how it all began in 2009. One thing I would like to share before I give you the mic, Wendy, was I was talking to someone who was at Georgetown prior to me, the elder statesman, Tracy. I'm the elder statesman here. Or as Wendy likes to call me, I'm grandpa.
Grandpa, that's grandpa.
So they were telling me that, there was soul on the campus prior to all of us arriving, and they wanted me to thank you for everything that Soul Hoya has done to this point. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Oh, that was nice. Keith and I appreciate that. Just a quick history lesson on Soul Hoya Alumni Group. Originally, there was 3 of us, myself, Keith, and Lisa, who's class of 92, who had a conversation about coming back to reunion. And
Lisa Young, correct?
Yes. So we had a conversation over Facebook, and we were going to crash Keith's what year was that, Keith? 30? No, it wasn't.
No, not 30. Come on now.
20th reunion.
20 year. Come on now.
Yeah, his 20th reunion in 2009. So we put it out there in this Facebook chat and created this group, and people showed up. So we decided to do something formal, or a little bit more formal, the next year. And it's grown ever since, exponentially ever since. Keith and I have been in this together now for about 7 or 8 years, just the 2 of us. And we couldn't even imagine back in 2009 what it would look like in 2023. So it's been an exciting journey with this Soul Hoya group. And to the point of the alum that you were talking about, the other elder states person, yes, we recognize that there was soul on campus prior to 2009, and we paid homage to that in the title of our group, Soul Hoya Alumni Group. We have built, hopefully, we have been a good example and a good steward, I hope, of that soul legacy, and we will continue to do that. So that leads us to the 14th installment of Soul Hoya Weekend, which is June 2nd through 4th, 2 weeks from now, in Washington, D.C. We have a full slate of events, and it's going to be an exciting time, and we bill it as our family reunion. We are all community. We are all family. We love our nieces and nephews and cousins and uncles and brothers. So we hope that everyone could sign up and come on out. We're going to have a really good time.
Keith, you want to share those events with us?
Yeah, well, before let me jump in back a little bit, because I mean, it's funny with Facebook, you probably couldn't even really chat now the way you could back then.
Right.
You know, it was actually a new medium, and the explosion of connection with folks was just astronomical. But prior to that, if you really connected with classmates, you probably got in touch with maybe 2 or 3, probably maybe your past roommates and things of that nature. And so I just remember when Wendy and Lisa cornered me, they're like, "Hey, Keith, we want to crash your reunion." I'm like, "Okay." And one thing I was like, I went with it because we just remembered kind of what the old school cafeteria was like, or just hanging out at the courtyard where you would just roll up on people and kind of have conversation before you knew it, you were late to class. And so, and I think so when we started to carve out, our first thing was the mixer. And I think we start with that because people were just rolling in, that it's a kind of a travel day. And so it would give individuals, if it wasn't their class reunion, a chance to kind of relax and meet people that were there for the reunion. So that was really a perfect opportunity to do this. And then, but we didn't want to just think is that it's strictly a party, but we also had the give back element to it. And so that's why we have the community service project. And then of course, we had to commemorate the idea, by having the photo. and
Right.
I remember the first one, and we, because before that it was like, we are Soul Hoyas too. So we kind of got a little bit raucous and was yelling like, "Hey, look over here. There's a group of alumni that are of color. Y'all need to take notice." But then, over the course of, the 14 years, I think you do see that family reunion element, or the reunion element, in that, you get to really meet people that are not in your class, and then hear about their experience, and you get to share yours. And then of course we have to culminate it with the big event, the party. And so, and it's truly, being away, and, Wendy and Tracy being there on the ground, it's a place where you need to be. It's really, if you miss it, you're going to really be upset, because you never know what's going to happen. And 2, you never know who's going to be there to really just create the bonding experience that will carry over to the, the next time.
Right. And it's that's a perfect summation of it. And this year, I'm going to kind of skip forward a little bit, but we have joined with the Alumni Association, along with the Black Alumni Summit and the African American Advisory Board, to be founding members of the Black Alumni Council.
All right,
which we will talk
hold
about
on. We'll get to that. Hold on.
But
Pump
it
your brakes.
affects.
Pump
I
your
don't
brakes.
like to pump my brakes. But
So,
okay.
so Tracy, let me ask you, because I know you're one of the sponsors of Soul Hoya Weekend, and I'm wondering a couple of things. Number one, probably what was your favorite Soul Hoya Weekend, and number 2, what drove you to want to sponsor?
So my favorite would have to be my first one. And that was I actually didn't come back to the Hilltop until my 20th reunion. And I happened to be working at the same company with Margarita Sims. And so she was class of 91. She was going back for her 25th and I was coming back for my 20th. And so I could tell you just a little bit about my experience at Georgetown. I was in the lab. So I was either in the Rice Building, White Gravener, or in the library. So to be able to come back to see other, brown faces, Black and brown faces, was amazing. And so Margarita said, here, Wendy, here's my baby sister. Take care of her. And I was connected with Wendy ever the whole entire weekend. And I partied the whole entire weekend. It was probably the first time I partied on the hilltop like that. So, and for me to see all of the classes, to see the family, and to know that, I've become family. I'm part of the family. I knew that that's something that I wanted to.
Would you say become, or would you say realize that you always were?
I always was. I always
There
was.
you go.
Yes. So I wanted that same experience because, again, I'm living the hilltop experience now. I didn't really have that during undergrad, and so wanted to be able to express that love that I have for my family. And so, and I'll do anything for Wendy. So. That's why I give.
And I think that's incredibly awesome. And my co-host texted me something in the DM from where to go from here. And I'm going to ignore that. And Tracy, I'm going to appreciate your story and just tell you how wonderful that is. Because the fact that you were away handling real life stuff for 20 years and the fact that you found your way back, because that is not what Hoya Locker Room started out as. But because of people like Keith and people like Wendy, that's what it's become, tapping back in. And, I've been to one event, and that was, I went to a Black Alumni Summit. And I give a shout out to Goran Dillard every time I tell the story, because he picked me up from the airport and took me straight to the event. Right. And I felt like I was crashing the party initially. And then after 5 or 10 minutes, I felt exactly how you laid it out. I felt like I was back home. I felt like I was with family and long lost family. So that's a interesting. I'd like to introduce the idea of how can we continue to share these stories, those experiences through our own groups. Me being part of men's basketball, still having connections there. How can I connect more with Soul Hoya for possibly down the road doing future type stuff? And I'll throw that out to Keith and Wendy because I think they're, this is our second time at it. And like I said, I rewatched the episode that we did prior, and I'd like to continue to move forward. So I'll just say that.
Yeah, but it's funny that you say that because Tracy and I talked about that last night. How the basketball team in particular, but probably all the athletes were kind of in the same bubble she was when she was there. You knew who your classmates were, who you went to class specifically with, but you were kind of set apart from everybody else. So this experience was new for some people last year for that same exact reason, for some of the basketball players who came back to Soul Hoya Reunion last year. And we have been working with the basketball alumni group, which we'll, I guess, get to later, right, Marco?
Yes.
To try and bring, at least that group back, because we understand. But Tracy and I had this conversation last night.
I think to kind of add to that, for the basketball players that have been to a Soul Hoya event, it's reaching out to maybe 2 or 3 of the players that they played with and kind of breaking down, I guess, the stigma or the silos that was built around basketball. And I understand that because, you were
silos built around Georgetown basketball. What are you talking about?
You know, because, you know, hey, look, you guys are focused. Basketball players were focused. They had a job, had a thing that they had to do. They had to not only be basketball players, but they also had to take care of their academics too. And that didn't leave a lot of time. I know I mean, even though I played on the baseball team, I know what it's like to not have a lot of time, even though we didn't have this, you know, the same success, but we were, you know, 20 hours, 25 hours a week built towards athletics. So they want to just feel comfortable that it won't be that same stigma and just come back and be free and have fun. But the only way to do that is if they hear it from one of their contemporaries. And I think, and that's what helped really build Soul Hoya. We had to do talk, and we had to let them know that this, you know, you're going to have a good time. You're going to, you know, meet with classmates, because we still hear that, oh, I didn't really have a connection at Georgetown. And it's like, well, you can build it now. And if you had an affinity for your school, a little bit of your time, it gives you that opportunity to do so.
Mhm.
Time,
I just want to say one
and
thing.
treasure.
Treasure.
Yes.
Yeah, I spoke to.
Say that again. Say that again, Jane.
Time, talent, and treasure. I struggle on all three, but time, talent, and treasure I do have.
Right. And it's funny you mentioned that
that's a
too.
coded message for a future guest that we need to have on.
Yes, but it was funny. I had the pleasure, this is an aside really. I had the distinct honor and pleasure to be a part of the Harambe graduation ceremony at Georgetown on Thursday. Can I tell you how phenomenal and the level of Black excellence that was in that room? We had every type of emotion, from laughter to tears. And that will be one of my most special moments in my life forever. And when I addressed the graduating seniors, that was one thing I brought up: time, talent, and treasure. And I'm like, you're going to hear this for the rest of your life, you know, in every communication from Georgetown, but that how imperative it is to give yourself. And the one thing that I took away from Georgetown, there were many things, but the one thing that has stuck with me the most is to freely love out of yourself, and to also freely give of your time, talents, and treasures. So I just have to add that into this conversation, because that's how we will survive. You know, we need people to participate. We need people to give. We need people to understand how important our community, / family is. And the way that you can support that is with either your time, talent, or treasures. End of speech.
I want to circle back to what
You will get a sternly worded text message after this. After this.
Please include me on that thread, please.
I want to circle back to what Keith said. I just want
Say it again.
a couple of things. Number one, I tell people this all the time about college athletes. Because and maybe you didn't mean to do this, but I feel like you kind of minimized your experience with baseball compared to basketball. And I understand what you're trying to say, but any person who participates in college athletics, it's amazing that they can graduate in 4 years, especially if it's a D1 football program. God help you. It is like having another job. So I just don't want you to minimize the baseball thing. Not at all. And what you guys were saying, what you were saying, Keith, in particular, about people not having a connection, made me think about Tyree Jones, who is one of the founding members of the BAC. He's also a current member of the board of directors at Georgetown. And he was a part of an organization called NOPE, which stood for Not One Penny Ever. And that was people who had had such a negative and lacking experience at Georgetown that they wanted nothing to do with it. And I always use Tyree because he was a member of that organization. Went from that to being president of the African-American or chair of the African-American Advisory Board, to now being on the board of directors. And that's a hell of a journey to go from being a member of note to being on the board of directors. And I would say he's only made that journey because Georgetown, to be fair, has made an effort to be more inclusive. And I think we're all five of us are all a part of that.
And let me just say that this drive that gives me to give back is because Georgetown gave to me in the first place. My mom was a single mom. I don't even know, there were times, we lived with my grandparents, lived with best friends, her best friends. If not, we would have been homeless. I was on free reduced lunch all through school. And so to go to Georgetown on a need-based scholarship, and I had the highest amount of work study and Pell Grant that you could get, but I left there and then was able to get a merit scholarship, a full ride to Hopkins. I have to give back because I wouldn't be where I am without those two institutions seeing something in me. So for me, it's something that it's just like air. I have to give back in everything that I do. I was volunteering before I could give in terms financial support. I was volunteering with, interviews on the local chapter, the local club here in Tampa. I've given back to my medical school, and now, it's Georgetown's time. But for me, I wouldn't be where I am without the institution. So that's why I give. So it has been a long time coming since 1992. It's a long time coming. So I finally been able to come full circle. So
Well,
I just
I'm
want
paying attention. I just want you to know, I heard you say, I'm paraphrasing. I wasn't kicking it at Georgetown. I was in the lab. And since you got a full ride to Hopkins, we can see why. It was well worth it.
Right,
Time in the lab was well worth it.
yes.
right, right. And I just want to add to that, that Tracy also saw the need to give back to things that matter to us. And that's something that people should be aware that they're able to do, that there are line items for Soul Hoya. There are line items for the Black Alumni Council. There are, you can write in if you want to give to the Healy Dinner. So the things that impact the Black family of Georgetown can be donated to directly. And I just want to make that clear, because that has been something that people were asking for back in the day when, we first started this. How do we give? And now you can give to all of these entities and get credit, Georgetown credit for giving. So, and that's because of Tracy, because that started prior to the Black Alumni Council, which I won't talk about yet.
But just so I can let you know I did my homework, the five tenets are the Patrick Healy Dinner, Soul Hoya Weekend, Black Alumni Summit, the John Curl Weekend, and most importantly, per Wendy, the Loyalty Society member. Did I get that? Did I get the five tenets correctly?
Yeah, you got 4 of them, but that's right. Yeah.
I tried. Just
Much
wanted
the
to-
way he's trying to make jump shots, he's trying. Give him
Yeah,
a-
I'm trying.
Yeah, but seriously, the most important one outside of Soul Hoya Reunion Weekend, I just have to say that, is to become a Loyalty Society member. And there are levels to that, but it's about consistency, not the amount of the donation. So if you have $17.89 to get started, if you do $17.89 consecutively for 5 years in a row, you become, a minor Loyalty Society member. So it goes up from there. So any
or $19.91.
Or $19.84.
$19. Yes, that's a little bit more and a little bit more appropriate. So if you could just do your class amount, it makes a difference. It really does make a difference. And if you want to apply for board seats, which just closed for the Black Alumni Council, those things come into play So it's just want to plug that. But yes.
That's the treasure part of the portion of the
program.
program.
Time,
Yeah.
Yes.
talent, and treasure.
Right.
So I'd like to, obviously, it's kind of hanging in the room, the Black Alumni Council. I'd like to talk about the formation of that, what that means, how huge that is, and yeah, what can we do to support that? I think first and foremost, being aware of how important that is, how important it is that that exists. So yeah.
And also how it's affected, and how it's affected So Hoya.
Okay, well, I can speak to all of those. I was on the working group, the founding working group that put together the Black Alumni Council. There were representatives from the African American Advisory Board, the Black Alumni Summit, So Hoya Alumni Group, and others, Conan, and other Tyree, who other, I want to use this word loosely, but influential Black alum from Georgetown. It took us 2.5 years of speaking to each other, fighting, getting along, doing what families do to create Georgetown's first, and hopefully not only, affinity alumni group. As we were talking about the history of the So Hoyas in particular, we worked outside of the Georgetown framework because we tried to become part of the Georgetown infrastructure or family. But we're told flat out that a Hoya is a Hoya and that there will never be an affinity group of alums with Georgetown. So that shows you how far things have come from the 2012 until 2023 when the Black Alumni Council was chartered. How it has affected being a Black alum, I'll start with that. The Black Alumni Council, oh, and if you didn't know, I'm vice chair of the Black Alumni Council. Manon Butler is chair. Conan and Gail Louis are the other two officers. The Black Alumni Council is designed, and created to be of service to our community. The moment that you graduate Georgetown, the moment that you become eligible as an alum, and you identify as a Black alum, you are a member of the Black Alumni Council. We represent you. We have events, all of the tentpole events from the 3 founding entities are now part of the Black Alumni Council offering of events. We have grown events, we have regional events. The So Hoyas are going to branch out to do homecoming as well as reunion. Things are just getting bigger and more expansive and more inclusive because we want spaces for all of us to come back and interact with Georgetown. The So Hoyas has always been different, and that is something that Keith and I we're going to make sure that it maintains its familial, fun, service-oriented goals. Because there are some people who don't want to go to stodgy, and I'm using these words because that's what we say in our community, these stodgy, stuck-up events. But you come to So Hoyas, and it's definitely not like that. We love on you. We have a good time. This year, we have expanded our memories mixers to include games. We're going to play spades, so get your games up. We have a cigar lounge, a mobile cigar lounge that's going to come, so you can come get your cigar and your bourbon on. And we have specialty cocktails, all done by Black vendors. We made an effort. The cards that we're using are from Black vendors. Everything that we do is surrounded by uplifting our communities, both inside of Georgetown and outside of Georgetown. So, and we've been so blessed as the council. I'm talking as the vice chair of the Black Alumni Council now. We have been so blessed and to see how many of our alums have stepped up for these regional events. The regional event in New York, Keith was a part of it. Oh, that's coming up on Tuesday, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yep.
Tuesday. There's a regional event. We had alums who sponsored that. We had Wayne Monfrey sponsor the one in San Francisco. That was like a month ago. We had Ryan give up the gathering spot and sponsor for the event in Atlanta. So people have always wanted to give of their time, talents, and treasures to the things that matter to them. And now there's a way to do that. So if you can hear the excitement in my voice about talking about the Black Alumni Council, it's because it's exciting, it's wonderful. And Georgetown has stepped up to the plate and understands what not only how valuable the Black alumni family is, but how they are blessed to have us because we are extraordinary.
Oh,
So
well done, Wendy. Perfect timing. Perfect timing, because I'd like to invite to our esteemed panel, Mr. Chris Wright. And again, I say perfect timing because we're talking about time, talent, and treasures, but also giving of yourself.
Right.
And we talked about events, potential events that matter. And this gentleman put together an event last summer with the ABL where he brought men's Georgetown basketball alumni back to play against Maryland.
right, I was there thanks to
You
Marco.
were VIP. You were VIP.
I was
Yeah, that's you what.
And obviously, we'd like to extend this relationship, collaboration, because it's only natural. There's an event, there are two events this summer, and I'm going to intro Mr. Wright and let him tell us about those. And also, welcome to the panel. And as always, good to see you, fam.
Thank you, Jane. Appreciate it. First, I want to say hello to everybody. It's always good to see some melanin from Georgetown popping up. You know what I'm saying? It's always
and you
good
know,
to
I rock your wear though. You know, I rock your wear on the plane. People were
I
like, "Where did
appreciate
shirt
that. I
come
saw that. I appreciate that. Yeah, so just to piggyback off what Gene said, sorry, that's my youngest in the background. Just to piggyback off what Gene was saying. Markin, what's up? What's up, brother?
What's up, Mr. Wright?
I had to interrupt real quick because you too quiet. You know, you worry me when you don't speak too much, you know.
No, man, like I just want to say to everybody out there, if you come to DC and you know Chris Wright, he will not call you back. That's all I gotta say. If he comes to your hometown, he also will not call you. That's all I gotta say.
See what I'm saying? This is type of stuff. It's the Memphis boys, man.
Wow.
Worry about but like I was saying, this summer we have two events. We're participating in the TBT, the basketball tournament, which is $1 million tournament. Unfortunately, I lost in the championship last year, missed out on $1 million. But we are putting together. We got about 10 former Hoyas on the team. It's all Georgetown team. It's called Dogtown. And we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to competing. We're looking forward to going out there representing the university, representing ourselves and trying to, you know, bring some more positivity to the program and to the university. So that's one of the events that we're going to be a part of. We also will be continuing with the ABL. This year we're playing up in Syracuse, August 6th. Right. I feel you. We play up there August 6th. Against Syracuse at the SRC. I wish it was at the Carrier Dome, but we ain't packing it out like that, so we can't do the.
But Wendy, sounds like an opportunity for us to really come together and go on the road.
That'd be a nice road trip.
Yeah.
One of the things I am going to say is that you and those 10 other Hoyas on that team need to be a Soul Hoya reunion on the second and the third.
So listen, I just talked to Gene about this yesterday. I will be there. I get back home on May 3rd. I'm in Spain right now. I get back on the 30th, and I'm going to make sure that I'm there on probably, I don't know for sure. I got an event to go to, a multiple sclerosis event the night of the 3rd, but I'm going to definitely try to be there the 2nd and 3rd for sure. I'm definitely in.
Definitely. And you should bring everybody. And again, going back to the original conversation that Tracy had, you know, if you don't feel a connection, you will feel that connection. And on Friday night is the mixer. So if you could bring yourself and a couple of the fellas, that would be a wonderful thing.
Okay. Definitely. I'm gonna definitely try to do that.
And just to let you know, usually the Soul Hoya events last past those other events that occur. So you won't have any problem finding finding the place to
Right.
be.
We don't even
Alright.
start till 10 o'clock on Saturday night, so that'll tell you something. Yes.
That sounds like we doing it right then, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, other than that, I just want to say in terms of Dog Talk, what we try to create, the brand we try to create with just somewhere to bring some light to the alumni that one played at Georgetown, and then we wanted to extend it to the university, because we feel like, especially us that played there, you know, it's a little different. After you take off that jersey, it seems like that's kind of the end of it. And we didn't want, and I agreed with that, you know, with some players that were coming out saying there's no camaraderie, there's no da. So I felt that it was necessary to create a platform where we can start rallying, start doing events, putting events together. I think it's important that we all be a part of Soul Hoya. I think it's important that anybody, Hoya Locker Room, this is important. Anybody that has anything doing with our name, with our brands attached to it, we should all be supporting and trying to make it the best event possible. So I'm all in. I'm definitely going to pull up on Soul Hoya though. I'm gonna try to get some of my team. I don't know the exact dates if they're in town, because everybody's in like playoffs and stuff right now.
Right.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to see if I can bring, one of my teammates or some other Hoyas up there with me.
And Chris,
Wonderful.
what was those dates again for the games?
So the TBT is July 25th through the 30th.
Okay.
The championship, we want to be in that. So we're going to speak that. Will be
Right.
August 2nd in Philadelphia. I don't know the exact date. I mean, the exact location of where in Philadelphia, but the July 25th through 30th will be in West Virginia. They try to put us in the Syracuse region. I was like, nah, hell no, we're not going to play.
Not
We're not
twice.
playing. Nah, we ain't playing Syracuse for $1 million. Well, it's gonna be all orange in there. I'm not ducking no
Right.
wreck, but at the same time, you got to think about this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we're gonna be in West Virginia for the first round. If we make it out the first round, then the next round will be in Philadelphia.
So-
And then
That's awesome.
the ABL is August 6th.
Right, and that's in Syracuse, right?
That's in Syracuse, 6 p.m.
Right.
August.
So Wendy, in listening to Chris talk about, what Dog Talk is all about, and giving the little spiel on Hoya Locker Room, it just reminds me of what Soul Hoya was going through when it was told never. It will never. So when we launched Hoya Locker Room, we did the same deal. We reached out to the university in some aspects to let them know our idea. But at the end of the day, it's incumbent upon people like ourselves to just say, okay, you're not rocking with us right now, but wait till we show you what we're really all about, the product, our to Tracy's point, how can you not want to give back?
Right.
Right.
Everything has been given to you.
Right. And I remember the conversations you and I have had, about you thinking you were going to quit. How did that go, talking to me about doing that? You're still here. So,
We're approaching 100 episodes, though. We're approaching 100. Tick-tock, tick-tock.
Nice.
every year, but I understand. But
so we
you
just had
have to keep the momentum up. You have to. You have to.
We just had someone else pop in, and we'd like to give him a chance because he got the bucket hat on. He must be moving fast or moving slow, one or the other.
How?
Mr. Robert Churchwell, intro yourself, and we like seeing you in the building.
What's going on, family? I appreciate everybody.
Hey.
It's the funniest thing, man. I'm sitting outside. I'm in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and it was nice and quiet. I found this nice quiet spot, and like 10 seconds before you introduced me, my man in the wheelchair came up, had his boom box blasting some old OJs. And I was just like, man, I ain't gonna be able to hear nothing.
He getting ready for Soul Hoya Alumni Reunion pick. He ready.
I should have invited him, right? Should have told him come on.
Right.
No, man, but we just finished this semifinal. My son's 5th grade, rising 6th grader, 11U. So this is his 2nd year playing, and
Hey,
first
cool.
year at this
We
type of
got
level.
kids.
That's it. So we just pulled one out. So we got a final in about 30 minutes.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Appreciate that.
Good luck to y'all in that finals, man. Those are the best times. I'm church and all the Gene too. I know y'all remember those times when you were young playing was probably the most enjoyable times, and even more so than college and all of the other stuff. Because
Yeah,
you
no
really
doubt.
that traveling and stuff. I'll never forget those days.
That's right. I just want you to know, I'm a little offended that you say church and you too, Gene.
You ain't who?
Let me tell you something.
You ain't who?
If
I said that on purpose.
If they had rankings back in the day, I would have been one of the top 25 fifth graders in the country.
Yeah, all right.
Hey, look, Chris. Hey, Chris. I lived with this dude for a year. I think I heard that once, at least once a week.
I already know, man.
So this is what Soul Hoya is all about, right? This is what you don't know where it's all coming.
Exactly.
Family.
That's right.
Exactly. It's family. Family.
Church World came on here and they say nothing about what we was talking about. Nothing about it, which is cool because bring whatever you can bring because of all the 5 tenets, Wendy, that you broke it down in the African American Advisory and the Black Alumni. The Soul Hoya is the soul, right?
Right.
That to me
Exactly.
is come
That's
as
right.
you are, and then if the other stuff is for you, you'll find out there, right?
That's
So
right. That's right.
that to me is initiation. I love this. I love this.
And even if you look at our channels, like one of the things that I absolutely fought for when we became under the umbrella of the Black Alumni Council is that we keep our Soul Hoya page and our channels the way that they are, because we talk about your kids, we talk about our grandparents, we talk about things that are going on in our life, like you would talk to your family. It's not just about, there's a Hoya event at Excalibur restaurant and it's $500 a person. That's not what we do. It's more of, we care about the person. It's all about family. So Churchwell would have been remiss if he did not talk about his son's game. He would have been remiss if he didn't talk about the guy rolling up, playing the OJs, because that's what we do.
But shout out to Mrs. Johnson.
Okay.
Yes.
CJ's mom, who had her 80th birthday last week. Shout out to
happy birthday, Mrs.
Delta
Johnson.
like my mom.
Well, yeah. Well, Malcolm, I want to give a shout out to your mom who just celebrated her 80th birthday. If we giving shout outs.
No, my mom.
Right. Markham's mom.
She's
Markham's mom started something though. Markham started something with the mom card situation.
The mom cards, yeah.
And that's the thing that those are the things that we do for each other that are outside of the scope of Georgetown. So that's why we fight. And we're going to build these, I think, moving forward as a family reunion, because that's how we approach it.
Since you guys say that I started it, I just want to, because people are like, what are you talking about? So when my mom had her 80th birthday, and to be fair, it wasn't me. It was my aunt John, who said no woman in our family on my mother's side had ever lived to be 80, and they wanted to make it a big deal. And so my aunt said, we want to try to get her 80 cards, and I put it out. I was trying to. She's a Delta, so I started hitting up Deltas, and then I was like, you know what? She's gonna be 80. It's kind of a big deal. So I just threw it out there in Soul Hoya, and people came through, man. And it was, she loved it. So like cars were coming in, and like she didn't know what was going on. Like she was like,
right, my mom
like, she's like, wait a minute, what is all this? Like people like talking about they went to school with you. Like, well, did you do something? And she loved it. And I tell everybody, and like milestone birthdays, man, like I was telling my dad a couple of weeks ago, the older I get, the more I realize the best money you can have is good health, because nothing matters if you don't have good health. And if you have a loved one reaching a milestone birthday, man, put something in their room and tell everybody to get them cards out. Like you got to do that because it's special. It really is.
Hey, Markham said something about health. I've been icing my knees now in anticipation for that Soul Hoya Saturday night boogie. I'm telling you right now. Hey, look, Doc Tracy had me on the floor, boy, for a minute. We was cutting it up.
Go-go, when the go-go goes on, it's.
Tracy, was that your first one that you alluded to, or was that one of the many?
Oh, no. But
See right. You're gonna be in the building. See right.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there. I was telling them earlier. I get back on the 30th, and then so I'm locked in. I'm there for sure.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And for people watching, they need to, I don't even know. Like, can I ask a question, Jean? For the people on this call who have attended a Soul Hoya reunion, can y'all please just sum it up in a word or two or a sentence or two what it really is like? Because I really don't think people understand. So, like, can you sum it up?
The best party.
Kirk, you go first since you were just joined us. Churchwell.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you go first.
She says, sum it up. What's Soul Hoya like?
It's a genuine and sincere celebration of Black Hoya love.
He?
Well, my one word would be anticipation to the next one. No, but the energy, as soon as you hit, I mean, we used to, when we were at the, what was that, the Key Bridge Marriott, you couldn't, as soon as you stepped into the spot, you knew you were going to have a great time. And that's really what it's all about. You're going to, and you don't know who you're going to see there. And so that's really what it's all about. And so you can generate long lasting friendships from that moment. They might not be the same class or even the 4 classes when you're there, but you're going to connect with someone from there. And funny story, just I want to add, and I'll try to be quick. We did the homecoming event, right? And I was going home and there was a guy who went to Georgetown. He was younger, I think 20 years younger than I was, and he didn't know anything about Soul Hoya or anything. And he sat next to me on the train. So I got to talk to him about the event, and he's coming to Tuesday to the regional event. So that wouldn't have happened if we didn't have Soul Hoya. And it's fantastic.
Yeah. All right, Tracy.
Well, because I didn't party as much as the undergrad, it is the best party. It is the best party. But aside from that, it's all inclusive. It is everyone, whether you undergrad, med school, law school, business school, graduate school, we welcome everyone. And to be able to make those connections, that's it. It's connection and the best party.
So Grandpa gonna jump in here because I have not been to a Soul Hoya Alumni weekend.
I'm looking forward to it now, though.
Only thing I can remotely equate it to, again, I'm 1980, 84, so I'm running this in terms of elderly, is going into the Soul Night. And when I went into Soul Night, even though it was on a Sunday, I forgot everything that was going on prior. I might have had some future plans, Chris. I might have had some future plans, because you gonna fall into something. But it was just the anticipation, Keith, that you talked about. That I didn't let the anticipation kick in till sometime around Saturday night or Sunday morning or something like that. But I couldn't wait to roll up in the spot and just let it all out, because I wasn't getting it during the week. Other than the MFs we were getting from Big John, we wasn't getting nothing else sold.
Yes,
and just to roll it. So that's the only thing I could equate it to. So it's on my bucket list now. And I don't even believe in bucket lists. I believe in bucket hats, not bucket lists.
Wait, hold on. I can't believe you just said that. You don't believe, but it's appropriate because based on the great Horace Broadnax, you are not a bucket getter. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. Thank you, Horace Broadnax.
I gotta say, that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, well, it's fun.
Well,
But
listen,
and I'm
fam.
glad that
Fam, we're over an hour. I'm killing y'all. I can't thank you enough. We tend to. I usually do this about 10 minutes prior, but it was so much love. I want to thank everyone for being here, but I do want Churchwell or Markham to touch on GMBA, maybe some of the things they have going on, how you plan on collaborating or connecting the dots as it may sit. If you could do that, and then I'd like to. I can't thank everybody enough, but then I kind of let everyone check out.
Well, last year and this year, we've been talking to Wendy, and Church can talk more about it. I like to be the man behind the curtain with GMBA and let Church be out there doing we have one of the 4 committees we have with Georgetown men's basketball alumni is a community service element. And we connect that with Soul Hoya. Floor to you, Church. Hoyas for humanity.
That's it. Always for humanity. And I can appreciate Markham as the chair. A good leader knows when to follow, and knowing that I should be the face of this as opposed to him is a sign of a good leader.
Thank you, Churchwell. Thank you.
No, but seriously though, Malcolm touched on, first of all, the GMBA is the Georgetown Men's Basketball Alumni Group. And it's just something that I think this is our 3rd year now. We've had several, as one of our members likes to say, small wins, in which we're bringing in former players and managers just back into the fold, right? We don't have to have 50 or 100 in at a time, but if we have 2, 5, 10, 15, that's a win. That's a win because we got more coming back. And quite honestly, man, Markham has been in touch with them, and I've had several conversations with Coach Cooley. And he actually texted me the other day, Wendy, he wants to be a part of Soul Hoyas. So we just got to stay on him and make sure he knows when and where.
right, that's in play already. I have somebody that's handling that. So yes.
Awesome. And so this year we're going to be at the Raymond Recreational and Center and Playground in Northwest DC. Been in touch over there with Mr. Wallace, who's a big Georgetown fan. He knows C right.
Yeah, for sure.
He talked about Gene and a whole host of Hoyas. But we're gonna go over there, man. Just help them beautify the playground and the space inside and out. Mr. Wallace said he's gonna pull out the grill for us, and so I got to bring my my vegan sausages and stuff over there. But it should be.
You gonna let him touch you with the pork on the grill?
So it should be a good time. It should be a good time, man.
Church, what is that? Church, is that on the 3rd or is that the 2nd?
The 3rd.
That's the third. We'll be over there from 9:30 to 1, right? Right, Wendy,
Yeah.
is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm trying to make both of those if I can. I'm gonna definitely come to that, but I'm trying to go to the party too.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
But you need to step in. You need to step in on Friday first, though, because
On Friday? Okay.
Yes.
you got to do
Yes,
Friday and
indeed.
Saturday. We take up your whole life. And this year we have
Only one weekend.
we have something else going on Sunday too. But yeah. Mhm.
All right,
Hey,
yeah,
Keith, I heard you when you said it's only one weekend. I heard you, baby.
That's right.
So what I like to do
Rest
again.
later. You can rest later. You can rest later.
Right.
What I like to do is maybe have everyone say a parting word, and then we usually like to end in a quote, and then maybe Markham can end in a quote. And I just like to say, because I'll forget, but I'd like to say we are dedicating this episode to Woodie Johnson,
Yes.
class of '82, who just recently passed away suddenly. We are heartbroken, but I think this episode would definitely make him smile and give him some light. And I would definitely call him, or I would send him the episode and we would talk about it. So I can't thank you enough for being a part of that dedication.
Mhm.
Well, I will close us out with a quote.
Before you close us out with the quote, because you weren't listening, everyone.
I was listening, but nobody stepped up.
Well, that's what you
about
can
that?
have a moment.
How about that?
It was
I
2
listened.
seconds.
It was a moment of silence.
Yeah, dog, we had a
Oh,
moment
Woodie.
of
Y'all are
reflection.
killing this
It was a
dude
reflection
here.
time.
Did you hear the gravel in my voice, dog? I was
Oh,
choking
my
up.
God.
So
Between Johnson and Jim Brown, we had to have a moment of silence for a second. You know what I mean?
thank you. So if everyone can give like a parting word, it could be one word, it could be whatever. Everyone except Markham. Definitely appreciate it.
Okay, I'll start. We are family. We are family.
I'll go next. I'm excited to be a part of it. So Hoya, I love the name first and foremost. I appreciate being on this episode. I appreciate everyone that was a part of Georgetown, and hopefully we can continue this growing. And I'm excited to help in any way possible.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll go next. If you haven't been, please come. You never know. You never know what to expect. If nothing else, you can always get a Peggy special. So there you go.
Yeah. I just like to say I have to ditto Tracy. We are family, and come back and see your family. We don't want anything from you, but we will love up on you, and we promise that you will have a good time. Promise.
I'm a second that, Wendy. It's one of the best weekends of the year. In being able to see so many Hoya family, so much love from Friday to Sunday. It's amazing. Like, if your soul is a little half empty, you need to come to Soul Hoya reunion weekend.
I like
Get
that.
thing full again. You need to get it full again.
Yes.
See, Gene, you weren't listening to church. You weren't listening. If you had been listening, Gene, when church said that, you would have said, church, actually, you're not seconding what Wendy said. You're thirding it, because Wendy seconded what Tracy said. I'm just.
You hate.
We want to talk about listening.
You hate
We want
when
to talk about
somebody get
listening.
at
I'm just no.
You don't like it. You couldn't let it go. You couldn't just let it go. Right?
I just want
You
to point that
had to
out.
say something.
Do
Do what you do best. Give us a quote. Let us enjoy. Let this episode seep in. It was a good one.
Yes.
It was. You did good, Markham.
It was not good.
You served
not
the
good.
best
It was
Gatorade,
great.
Markham.
Great. It was not good. It was great.
Okay.
So here's our quote. To be a little for Keith more than anybody, because we started out Hoya Locker Room as a basketball deal, but this is the quote, and it fits in with what you were talking about, Wendy, about being told no. Gene, you being told no. We all been told no a lot in our lives. My motto was always to keep swinging, whether I was in a slump or feeling badly or having trouble off the field. The only thing to do was to keep swinging. Henry Aaron, the all-time home run leader. I ain't got nothing for you, Barry Bonds. Everybody, appreciate you coming on.
All right.
Thank y'all for always supporting us as Soul Hoya Saxa, June 2nd through 4th.
Thank you, family.
Don't
Appreciate
be a
all you.
stone gas, honey.
Yes.
That's right.
See you
Everybody
guys.
stay safe.
See you in a couple
All
weeks.
right. Hey, church,
Thank
good
you.
luck. Good luck in that championship game.
Oh,
I
yeah, that's
appreciate
right.
it. Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Wishing you love, peace, and
Yes.
soul.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.